guys, this is Emmy, and I'd like to thank you once again for joining me in this broadcast. I hope you're doing okay wherever you are. I am. I'm having a really good day. It is a beautiful day. So, in this broadcast, I'm just gonna make it real quick. I'm gonna answer a question that I got, one of the questions that I got from my last video. So, the question is, how do I forgive? So to answer this, I decided to ask two kids that I know this question, because sometimes kids do really well than we do in some things, especially in forgiveness. They really let go so quickly. So I asked two kids, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, how do you forgive? So the 10-year-old answered by saying, hey, I forgive by accepting someone's apology, and then I hug them. And then kid number 2 responded by saying, I forgive by saying I'm sorry. So kid number 1 is our ideal situation, right? We all wish and hoped that everybody that has wronged us or everybody that has hurt us would issue an apology, and then we hug, and then end of everything, or the beginning of something beautiful. But it always doesn't happen that way. So perhaps you leave or you love somebody who is a serial offender. They continually do things that are hurtful. They continually say things that are hurtful. And so how do you forgive such person who never even acknowledges that they are hurting you? How do you do that? So I'll share a few things that I've done lately, or that I know that have helped me. So to answer that question, actually, we can rephrase it by asking, how do we become bigger than our pain? Because if we are struggling, if you're having a struggle forgiving, that means your pain is bigger than you. So how do you grow? How do you rise above your pain? So one thing we could do is revise our interpretations and conclusions about people and events. And what do I mean by this? We can revise how we look at people. So if somebody is continually calling you names, for instance, or if someone is continually spreading rumors about you, they're withholding their love from you, they are influencing others negatively so that you are alienated. They are just not being the person that you wish they were. They're doing things to affect you negatively. How do you forgive such person? Or how do you interpret such things? So if you're calling me names every day or whenever I see you, how I can change my interpretation of that is, I could look at you and say, whatever you are doing, you calling me names, you spreading rumors about me, you withholding your love, has nothing to do with who I am, but has everything to do with who you are. It is your behavior, it is who you are, it is what you choose to do, and it has nothing. It is not an interpretation of who I am, but it is an interpretation of who you are. So I'm going to see things like that. I'm not going to take it so personally. I'm just going to accept that. I'm not going to take it, but I'm going to accept the person that you are and not reflect it on me. It is not a reflection of who I am. So that's how to revise an interpretation of things or events or people. That's one way. And once you do that, it frees you, because you're not personalizing things so much anymore, okay? So another way to look at it is, or to lessen your pain, and the goal is to bring your pain, to minimize your pain so that you can be bigger. So another way to minimize your pain is to stop living in an illusion. And what I mean by that is, perhaps you have a model. For instance, you have a model parents that probably you've seen on TV, or a friend of yours has parents that you so wish that your parents were. Perhaps, parents who are always there for you or for them, parents who have given uh, who have shared their property, who come to your graduation, who come to your wedding. That's a big one, right? Who, do whatever parents do, model parents do. Or perhaps you have modeled a spouse based on what you've seen on TV, based on what you've read in the Bible, based on your dreams as a child, and you're waking up every day to somebody different. So you're disappointed every day. So to lessen your pain is to stop the illusion and see the real thing that you have. You have who you have. Your parents are who they are. And living in reality and not an illusion lessens your disappointment. The less you're disappointed, the less you're hurt. So the smaller your pain and the bigger you are. So number 3, something that you can do too is do not default to anger. Anger is such a default emotion. So if somebody, does something wrong, our automatic ways to respond is to be angry. Yet we have so many ways to respond because we have trained ourselves to respond to anger. That's our default. We can reprogram ourselves to respond differently. Perhaps we can respond to a lesser intense emotion such as sadness. Sadness, in my opinion at least, can give you an opportunity to think things through. If you're sad, you can think, Or you can default or retrain yourself to respond by reason. When you give logic a chance, then you are able to be clear about what is really happening, Then even it affects your interpretation about things. So if you're reasoning and you're logical, you see facts, then you're not just defaulting to anger. So I'll give you an example for an illusion especially. So if you have an ATM card, this is an old ATM card that I have. If you have a bank account that you haven't deposited money in a while, so it has a zero balance, and just because you have an ATM card, you take it to the ATM machine and try to get money out of it. That's an illusion, right? You're gonna get insufficient funds message, right? So just because you have an ATM doesn't mean there is money, and it applies to our relationships. Just because you're asking for it doesn't mean the person has it. So stop asking, or stop inserting that, or stop depositing whatever you're depositing in that relationship and expecting something out of it. Because if it's empty, it's empty. I think we talked about it in my previous video, that perhaps people don't have the capacity to give you what you are expecting from them. So if it's not there, it's not there. Okay, so if it's not there, you just have to stop. So let's revise 3 ways to really help us minimize our pain so that we can rise and we can help ourselves to forgive, or we can make our pain little so that it's below us and it's not above us. So number 1 is we revise our interpretations of events and people. Number 2, we stop living in illusions. Number 3, we stop defaulting to anger. I hope that was helpful, and I wish you a very blessed week. Thank you so much for your support, and until next time, bye-bye.